Councilman Michael Corbin's here. Hey, Mr. Mike, how you been? Thank you for being with us today.
Good morning, Robert and Aaron. How are you today?
First thing, are Shreveport's busiest, most used roads downtown? I would think Uri, Burt Coons, etc. You are privy to much more information than me, huh?
Well, I kind of look at it this way. If you lined up all 7 council members in a row and you said, who has the worst streets and who has the busiest streets, 7 hands are going to go up, because we all feel like, we have the worst conditions in our district. The fact of the matter is that, some streets are busy sometimes. Downtown's busy morning rush hour, afternoon rush hour. Uri Drive's busy sun up to sundown and after sundown. But, there's the other piece we have to take into account is we have a lot of state-operated and maintained roads in our city. 70th Street, part of Line Avenue, Ellerby Road, Burt Coons, Uri Drive, Texas Street, Greenwood Road. Mm-hmm. Those are all state, and they're really out of the city system completely.
$5.3 million overlay project. It looks like you're going to do 23 roads. How are you prioritizing those? I mean, what is the method to the madness?
Nice.
It's simple yet complicated, as government tends to be sometimes. And there are a combination of lists that have been kept, manual lists for requests for streets to be resurfaced. And a few years ago, we hired a company to come in, and they do these laser measurements. They drive every city street. They take pictures, and they compile street surface data with traffic count information, and they are able to prioritize streets that need repair in Shreveport. The mayor and her staff have gone through and put this list together, and they say these are the top offenders in each council district. Now, if you start looking through that list, you'll see, multiple streets in multiple council districts. I have been fortunate in Southeast Shreveport to have a lot of my of the major roadways, Overton Brooks, North Ferry, Line Avenue, or Ellerby Road, resurfaced in the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. So there's only a very small piece in Southeast Shreveport, and it's Florina Lucas from Ellerby Road to the railroad tracks behind Forbing Marketplace. The good news is Florina Lucas from the railroad tracks all the way to Kingston Road, which is in Councilman Fleury's district, will also be resurfaced as part of this program.
Mr. Mike, the $5.3 million, is that on the city books? Do we have that cash in hand? Do we have to borrow it? Explain to me
bond
the
money, right?
Process of payment.
It's money that we have. The prior city council approved the street special revenue fund, and that is 2%. That's a 2% tax on your electric bill. That money is dedicated to a streets fund, and it generates about $6.5 million every year. So we use a large portion of that for asphalt overlays. So that's money in the bank that we have. There's no borrowing. There's no bond debt associated with it at all.
You brought up an interesting point earlier, and you had said if you lined up all the city councilmen, they would all say that the roads in their districts need the most work. If there is a limited amount of funds that we currently have cash in hand, what kind of competition is there among the city council people, and what kind of tactics does said city council person have to use to sort of get to the front of that we're going to repair the roads cash line?
Well, that's really a good question, and it's a constant battle of sorts, because one of the reasons the prior council decided to use this street management program and have the measurements and the pictures and all that made is we wanted to take some of the territorial fighting out of the picture. We wanted a definitive list. Here's our top 10 offending streets. Let's get them fixed and knock them off the list, and not get into these territorial battles between districts. We have the MLK area, for example. It's a great example. There were streets that were oil and dirt streets up there when the city annexed it. We've come in and put asphalt on top of those streets. Those streets need work. They're not the same standards as streets in Broadmoor and Ellerby Road Estates. That's just a fact. It's nobody's fault. It's just how it is. But to come in and say we're going to take all the streets in an area that are substandard and bring them up to standard at one time, that will never happen. We can take some baby bites, but you can't get the whole meal in.